My name is J.R. Kelly. I'm the public counsel for the state of Florida, and our office is statutorily vested with the responsibility to represent Florida Power and Light ratepayers in their current rate case they have filed before the Public Service Commission. They do have some of the lowest rates in Florida, and a lot of that is because they are so dependent on natural gas, and natural gas prices are very, very low right now. If you go back to just 2007, 2008, when natural gas prices were extremely high, almost 4 to 5 times what they are today, you would have seen a corresponding increase in Florida Power and Light's rates. So their overall rate that the customer pays is lower today because of those lower fuel costs. However, the base rates, which is basically the way a utility recovers all of its operating costs, as well as a return on its investment, those are what we call base rates. Those have increased approximately 44% since 2006. You know, a utility in Florida is granted a monopoly service area. That means there's no competition whatsoever. In return for that, their rates are regulated by the Florida Public Service Commission. And in Florida, the regulatory compact is such that the utility must provide safe, adequate, and reliable service. The utility is given a fair and reasonable opportunity to recover all of their prudent and reasonable operation and maintenance costs, and also earn a fair and reasonable return on their investment. The bottom line is that is what I said in the regulatory compact. They have the right to earn a fair and reasonable return. We do not believe that Florida Power and Light, in this particular rate case, is asking for a fair and reasonable return. They're asking for an 11% return on equity, and we believe that is just excessive. To put it in perspective, if you look at 100 basis points or 1% of a return, that equates to over $240 million per year that ratepayers pay to Florida Power and Light. So when you break it down and you say, well, it's only $13 a month, or that equates to about $160 a year to a typical small user ratepayer, that $160 can add up, especially when you're looking at seniors on fixed income that have indicated to us over the past few years they've gotten no increase in their Social Security, or maybe 1 or 2% increase, and also they're not earning much, if anything, on their investments. Another area that Florida Power and Light, we believe, is excessive in what they're asking for is in their capital structure. The way a company raises capital is twofold. They can either sell stock, and that is called equity capital, or they can borrow money. That's debt capital. Now, equity capital is a lot more expensive than debt capital. Therefore, a prudent utility should be, you would think, would look to have a pretty much an even portfolio of debt capital and equity capital. In this particular case, Florida Power and Light is asking for a 60% equity capital. Their own expert uses a proxy group of like kind or comparable utilities from around the United States in recommending his 11% return on equity. If you look at all of those comparable utilities, they have an equity ratio averaging 48%. NextEra, which is Florida Power and Light's parent company, has an equity ratio for its consolidated parent subsidiary group of 45%. Let me put this in numbers. We will be recommending a 50-50 equity ratio to debt ratio in their capital structure. We think that is extremely fair and reasonable, and above what both NextEra has, a 45%, and what their own expert uses, a 48% in his proxy group. What does that 10 percentage points from 60% down to 50% mean? That's a difference in ratepayers paying $359 million more per year to Florida Power and Light. money that they do not need in order to provide safe, adequate, and reliable service. True, it may only be $13 a month, but the rates do not have to go up that much, and therefore the ratepayers will not be as impacted. And another thing you have to consider is what's going to happen to the businesses. Their rates go up. When you say $13, that's a typical residential user that uses 1,000 kilowatt hours per month. Let's look at a Publix supermarket or a Walmart. Their rates aren't going to go up $13 a month. They're going to go up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Who's going to pay for that? Not Walmart, not Publix. They're going to pass those costs on to their customers. Who are their customers? The same customer that is paying $13 more per month in his or her utility bill are now going to have to pay more at the gas pump, the grocery store, any other business that they frequent. So it is trickle-down economics. It's not simply $13 per month. You have to look at the total picture. But the bottom line is what Florida Power & Light is asking for, we do not believe is reasonable. Our focus is on the commission awarding what we believe to be a fair and reasonable return on equity. And we do not believe the 11% is fair and reasonable. We do not believe that their requested capital structure of 60% equity ratio is fair and reasonable. And there are some other areas that we're going to be challenging, such as depreciation expense, some storm hardening expenses, etc., that we believe they have over forecasted to be higher than they need to be. In addition, we believe that they have under forecasted their revenues in the future. And that also has the effect of creating an artificial basis for FPL requesting higher rates. Again, let's talk about, you're looking at $13 a month, but the overall ask of FPL is $1.3 billion. I think the biggest thing people need to understand is we agree that Florida Power & Light needs to be a healthy utility and it needs to have good financial metrics. However, we do not believe that what they're asking for is reasonable, and we do not believe it's going to damage any of their financial position, and it will absolutely not cause them to not be able to continue to provide safe, adequate, and reliable service.